Welcome back, mamas. I am so excited for you today because if you struggle with decision fatigue, if you get to the end of your day and you are just like, I can't make one more decision, or I am so exhausted, this mental load that I have is just too much, I have some ways for you to break free from that. I am so excited to share some tips, some steps, some things you can do to get on the other side of that because I want that for you. So let's get to it. Welcome to Prioritize with Purpose, Mama. Do you wish you had control of your days and to feel like you've accomplished something at the end of each day, but find yourself up at night, doubting that you've done enough and wondering if you'll ever have time for you again? Do you wake up with big plans only to feel exhausted, scattered, and a little like Cinderella when your to-do list just seems to grow and your day gets thrown off track again? I'm Danielle, a recovering workaholic, wife, and stay-at-home mom of 2 girls. I too was a busy mom, running around with endless to-do lists, feeling like a train wreck. I too felt guilty, wondering why I wasn't happy and wishing I could find clarity so I could be more present with my kids. I doubted myself, thinking I didn't have time, schedules must not be for me, and thinking I was too tired to figure a way forward. I knew I wanted more, but I felt so alone until I made a decision that something had to change. I did the work to get clear about what I wanted and why. In this podcast, we embrace where we are, but we don't stay there. I'll guide you with transformational tips. You'll learn mindset shifts and be challenged to take back control of your days so you get the most important things done and can be a more present mama who feels like yourself again. So grab the kid as a snack and get your laundry because I know you're multitasking. And let's get into what I like to call aligned flow. Okay, mamas, who is ready to get into this, to figure out what you can do about this decision fatigue that you may be feeling, what you can do about this mental load that we are carrying as mamas, right? On Tuesday, we talked all about decision fatigue, how we notice it, what it is, and a little bit about what we can do about it. But today we're diving deep in the what we can do about it. And so I really want you to think about this because it can seem overwhelming, right? It can seem like, I don't know, I have so many things to do. I cannot do one more thing. Like I cannot create a system. We tend to tell ourselves this. I know I did. And these are going to be things that you can do. And I know because I've done them and I have felt exactly the way that you are feeling right now, I promise you. And so I want you to know that you can break this down into bite-sized pieces and that you are capable of implementing these things and of getting free of this decision fatigue. And we talked Tuesday about how decision fatigue, it's something that you shouldn't be feeling all of the time, right? It's not something where you should be getting to that point of your end of your rope or, you are making all of these poor choices that we may tend to make when we're in decision fatigue. We shouldn't be there every day. And I know I was, right? And so if you are finding yourself in that space, that is a time when you definitely need to maybe take some more steps or hire me as a coach. I am not a therapist, right? But I know I've been told by a lot of people that I should be or could be, right? But I am not a therapist and I am not someone who is going to be able to diagnose anything. And I can give you some advice on what I believe you should do as it relates to your day from my experience. But if you need to seek some help professionally from someone who can really help you get out of, let's just say, a depression or something else that might be going on that's deeper than just this mental load or this decision fatigue, right? So I wanted to say that right out of the gate, because if you are doing all of these things that we talked about, like procrastinating, you're making poor judgments, you are making impulsive decisions, you're always tired when it comes to the end of the day, you feel like you're in a brain fog all the time. Like we call it mom brain, right? And that's a real thing. Like it is totally a real thing. But if you are doing these other things because you're tired and because you feel like you're in a brain fog, if you're making poor decisions and poor judgments and, procrastinating everything in your life and getting super irritable and always overwhelmed, and finding yourself in that place of regret and regretting these decisions that you're making, if that's happening all the time, then it's something that you need to address for sure, right? Like for sure, like implement some of the things I'm talking about. But you may need to take a deeper step, which is I would definitely advise my coaching, but also possibly, depending on how deep this is, getting a mental health professional involved. So this mental load, when you get to the end of the day, it can feel very heavy, like you've just, I don't know, ran a race or something, because it is like you ran a race, but not in your physical body. It's like that in your mind because you've been working so hard all day, listening, remembering all the things that have to get done, figuring out what everyone's needs are, not just your own, but everyone else's needs are all the time. And you are trying to be on time on top of it all, right? It can leave you feeling this way. But what can you do about it? What's what we're going to talk about today? What can I do about this today? So, one thing that you can do is automate. So, I talked about this a little bit on Tuesday, but you can automate some of the things that you do. So, instead of having to make a decision, I talked about it with regard to what my kids were going to drink every day, right? For breakfast, I always would just default, they get milk for breakfast. Like that's what they get, milk for breakfast. And after breakfast, it's to water. And if it's juice, like we do a 50-50 split of juice. They only get so much juice in a day. And I've decided this ahead of time. So where I don't have to decide in the moment, is my child getting juice or not? Like if they ask for it, I know, okay, no, they've already had their amount of juice for the day. And so I don't give them any more, right? Like the answer is no. And then if it's not juice, it's water, right? This is how my household works. And so this is something that you can do, but you can do it for everything, really. Not everything, but like you can put systems in place to where, let's just say that decision of, what am I going to wear every day? So this is something that I had tried when the kids were little that I really liked. And this was like, I would take each and every day of the week, and I got one of those like shoe separators where you can hang your shoes. Like I'm always like, I don't know if I would ever hang my shoes in these things, but they have little shelves on top of one another. And I think you can put clothes or shoes or whatever. And I would do it by day of the week. And you could put in your clothes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You could lay every single day out in the bin. They would have underwear, socks, shorts or pants, whatever it was, dress, whatever, in the slot. And that would be Monday. So when it came to be Monday morning and we were in a tizzy or in a hurry or whatever it was, that was easily already done. And I could do that on Sunday, right? Like lay it out for the week. Now, if you don't have the time to do that, you can do this the night before and it won't take as long, right? Like you're going to have to do it in the morning anyway. And to eliminate that decision fatigue, so you don't start your morning off with, gosh, I can't find the socks and I can't find this and I can't find that. Start it the day before and get that ready and lay it out somewhere so that the next morning it's ready to go. And you can do this for yourself too, right? Like you can pick out your outfit, you can lay it out so that in the morning when you go to get dressed, you don't have to make that decision, right? That's one less decision that you have to make. So you can automate a lot of things in your life, things that you know are going to happen every single day. Then you can automate them. Something else that you can do is you can get everything that's out of your head. I know you guys have heard me talking about brain dumping before, right? I'm a huge advocate for brain dumping. I know some people don't love brain dumping, but for me, it works. And the reason it works is not because I get overwhelmed by the amount of things that I've written on the paper, because I don't want you to do that, right? But what it should do and what it can do for you is when you put all of those things down on a piece of paper, it gets them out of just your head so that you know, okay, I know that I've written that down and then I don't have to remember it. So when I am thinking about tomorrow, or when I'm thinking about the rest of the day, or if you have the time to do it for the rest of the week, right? You sit down and you write all of the things that you have to do for the day, or all of the things that you have to do for the week, or all of the things that you have to do tomorrow, right? Like whatever it is, you can write it down and it gets it out of your head and it gets it onto a paper. And number one, you can see all of the things that you have to do and you can look at it and you can say, okay, that's a bit much. Like, there's no way that I'm going to get all of those things done. So you can, what am I going to say? Prioritize, right? Like, you can prioritize what is most important. What are the things that need to get done? What are the things that have to get done? What are the things that could wait? Because a lot of times you will find that you will spend time on the things that could have waited, in the things that can't wait won't get done, or you'll be stressed out about doing them or trying to be in a hurry or whatever because you've taken care of some of the things that could have waited. Right. And so it's super helpful to not just write them down, but actually to take a look at that list and prioritize, like, okay, I know I have to get that, like circle the ones that have to get done first. And you can look at that list. And I know I'm a list person, but I also am the person who loses my lists. So you can do this on your phone, like in your notes app. There's actually an app called Bear that you could use as well. Like, there are ways that you can keep track and automate it. And even in your notes, like there's a little tick box where you can actually you can have a list and then you can check it off and it will take it and it will move it down your list. It will move it to the bottom. Once you click the box, it'll take that item and move it to the bottom of your to-do list because you know you've already done it. And then it actually lays it out to where you know what are all the things and you can move them in order of importance or whatever. It's really nice if you actually use your phone to help, because then you know you won't lose your list, right? Unless you lose your phone, which I have also done. Something else that you can do to, like, this is to prevent it, right? So this is taking care of yourself, right? Taking care of yourself is so important. It's so important. And I'm going to read a quote. This quote is from, I'm going to mess up this name, but it's from Satchidananda. Swami Satchidananda. And it says, when you become the master of your mind, you are the master of everything. When you become the master of your mind, you are the master of everything. And this automating things, writing things down, this helps you to master your mind because we get to control our thoughts, right? We get to control the things that we think about. However, when we get ourselves into a state where we're in stress or we're overwhelmed and we're tired and we're all of these things, that is when our body tends to take over our brain because we haven't taken the time to take care of our mind. Our mind is so important and you can control your thoughts, as I said. But when we are working in this state of stress, that's when our body can start to take over for our mind. And if we don't do these things on the front end, to help our mind, then our body is like screaming and our mind tends to respond to that, right? So self-care is super important. And what do I mean by self-care? Well, number one, rest. Okay. Sleep is important. And I know when you are a mom of littles that sometimes sleep gets interrupted. Sometimes it gets interrupted in the middle of the night. Sometimes it gets interrupted in the morning. Sometimes it gets interrupted. It gets interrupted pretty much any time, right? Like, there is no prediction of when it's going to get interrupted. But what you can do is make sure that you're going to bed and you're not like taking your phone to bed, right? Like, or if you have to have your phone near your bed, like you're not opening it when you're in bed, if outside of maybe setting your alarm for the morning or whatever it is, but you're not looking at that phone while you're in bed and you're supposed to rest. Because I know that I used to spend hours. That's when I would finally feel like, okay, I have some me time. I have some alone time. I have some downtime finally. And so I would take it and use it on that. I would use it on, mindlessly scrolling. I would use it on, watching TikToks, or I never really watched TikToks, but I would watch reels, or I would go through people's Facebook pages. I would catch up on all the things, which is nice for a minute. But like what happens is you get in the scroll hole and then you realize that you've taken 30, 60, 90, 120 minutes of time that you could have been sleeping, and you've given it to social media. And what have you gotten from that? Well, you've not gotten rest. You might have gotten stressed out. You could be in comparison now. Like there's all these things that could happen that are poor choices, that lead to poor choices, and that lead your mind to be in a bad state. And getting your sleep is one of them, right? We need that sleep. That rest is so important. And so I advise, if you are going to, if that's like not a habit you can give up because that's your only me time or whatever it is, if that is something that you actually really do feel like you love, you might just be addicted to it. But if it feels like you can't completely cut that out, try setting a timer and doing it before you get in bed, right? Like set a timer, like I'm going to give myself 10, 15, 20 minutes to get on Facebook, catch up, check in on the people that I know I would love to check in on, maybe see what's going on with some of my favorite like influencers or, whoever you follow or whatever, but like only give yourself a time limit and then go to bed. And don't open your phone back up when you get in bed, right? That is a huge, huge tip that really, really could help you. One of the other things is to exercise, to move your body, because when we move our body, we release so many good chemicals, but also we release stress. If you can get outside and exercise, it's even better because it just helps your mind so much. But it doesn't have to be like I got to go to the gym, or I have to get in a workout class, or I've got to ride the bike. Like you could take a walk around the neighborhood. You could go to somewhere that you enjoy walking around and just walk around, and have something to look at. Like if there's an outdoor mall or, an indoor mall, if it's raining and you just want to do laps around the mall. I know that I used to, when I was little, we had these people called mall walkers, and they would go early in the morning, and they would just walk the mall, right? Like they would walk the inside of the mall. They would never do anything. They would literally look like they were going to work out, but they were just walking the mall, right? Because it gives your child maybe something to look at. It's a little more stimulating. It's if you can go outside, that is the best place, right? But if you can't, then you can go to the mall, or you can do something that is going to allow you to move your body, because that does help your mind. And the last thing I'm going to say is, I'm sure but that is do something for yourself. Some type of self-care that is, almost like a reward for yourself, something where you're able to unplug, something where, it could be like a massage. It could just be like if something is absolutely driving you crazy in your house, like if you have a room or an area or whatever, it could just be cleaning that up. And maybe cleaning isn't your thing, because I know it's not mine, and that does not sound like self-care. However, if there's a particular area of my house that is making me crazy on a daily basis, and I take the time to clean that up, it is so helpful for my mind. And it does allow me to really enjoy my day more and to be less stressed because that area has been cleaned, right? And so that actually can be self-care. And the last thing I forgot to mention is to delegate, right? When you get that brain dump, or when you, as moms, we are really bad a lot of times at asking for help. And we can ask our kids for help. It's things that we may not even think about. Like your kids can help you. Most likely, they can do things that you may not be giving them enough credit for. Like you can have your child put away their dishes in the dishwasher. Or if that is something where I know, like, I have to have the dishwasher loaded a specific way, they can take their dishes to the sink at least, right? Like they can take their laundry and put it in the laundry basket. They can maybe fold, right? Like you could, if you're a stickler for folding and that won't work for your household, there are just little things that you can delegate to other people, to your children, and you will be surprised. I know I was surprised at how well my children were able to fold or, help with little tasks. And when you teach your kids, like your husband may not learn how to load the dishwasher if he's anything like mine, because he's done it a certain way and he's paying attention, but he doesn't really understand. But your kids, a lot of times, they've not had that background experience of loading a dishwasher before. So if you teach them where things go, then they will put them there, right? Most likely they will put them there. And if they forget, oh wow, you have to move it one slot or whatever it is, but at least it's cleaned and put in the dishwasher and not sitting on the counter or not sitting on the table or whatever it is. And it gives them a little bit of responsibility that they actually like a lot of times. I know my kids, I was always amazed, they like to sweep the floor. They loved that. They loved, we had like a little a vacuum that we could use, but they even liked the just broom and sweeping the floor. Now, I won't say they always did an amazing job, but it was done, right? Like it was done. And so it was good enough for me and my household. So you'll be surprised the things that you can delegate, which is really, really nice. So I'm going to end with one last quote here. And this one is Bob Marley. And he says, emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. None but ourselves can free our minds. Now, he may have been talking about like your view of yourself and how people view themselves and how we can make ourselves live in slavery or feel like we are in mental slavery. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. But I think that's what we sometimes can get into as moms, as feeling like all of this stuff is our responsibility. All of this stuff is on us, that we can't ask for help, that if we ask for help, it's weak, that we are just the one that has to do it all, right? And I want to tell you, number one, there are people that want to help you. And number two, there are ways to make it easier for yourself. And number three, that's what I'm going to talk about next week. I've just decided is going to be asking for help because we need support as moms. That is something that we need. And if we are in our minds telling ourselves that we don't have this support, that is living in mental slavery, right? Like we are becoming a slave to our own selves, to our own minds. And I have just given you a bunch of tips, a bunch of things that you can do to get yourself out of this decision fatigue, but it's also going to help so many more things. And it's going to free up your mind. And as Bob Marley said, you're the only one that can do that, right? We are the only one that can free our own minds. So I hope that this really is going to help you. If you need more help, I would love to be that person to walk through this with you. And if you have not checked out the Prioritize Your Purpose coaching, please go to my website, prioritizewithpurpose.com/coaching, prioritizewithpurpose.com, and you will see one-on-one coaching that I will walk you through a lot of these things and give you so much more insight, on a personal level when we are doing this one-on-one. But I want to help you with not just this, but I want to help you to get where you want to go. Because ultimately, I know that we just feel like we are stuck with all of this stuff and we are in this decision fatigue. We are feeling this mental load. And really, what we want is to be free of that, yes, but we want more for ourselves. And we sometimes we just don't know how to get to that next point. So I really want to help you to feel like yourself again and just to know that you are capable of whatever it is that you want to do for yourself, for your family, for your children. And I would love to help you with that. So please go check that out and please let me know. I want you to start and try to implement at least one of these things that you heard. If you can just take one of the things that you've heard today and implement that in your life, I would love to know how it goes. But I believe it will be a blessing to you. So until next week, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, Mama. If so, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and then hit share and send this to a mom who needs this in her day. I'll meet you right back here next week. Keep smiling, y'all.